A formal study into the issue of expansion. The next Board of Governors meeting for the NBA likely will take place sometime in September. Just a day after reaching a long-term contract extension with wide receiver Garrett Wilson, the Jets rewarded star defensive back Sauce Gardner with a record-setting deal. It's a 4-year contract worth $120.4 million. The extension includes a little more than $85 million guaranteed. The two-time All-Pro becomes the NFL's highest-paid cornerback. The Chiefs and guard Trey Smith have agreed to a 4-year, $94 million deal. The extension makes him the highest-paid interior lineman in league history. $70 million is guaranteed. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
More fiber and laxatives, eh?
Who are you?
I'm future you.
Future me?
Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Our doctor figured it out. It's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
It's a sweet deal.
All you gotta do is just listen and start winning.
We can't make it any simpler.
Yeah, we'd be lying if we told you we hadn't considered asking for a cut.
Get the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the two best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, Sirius XM Channel 159.
The best every day now officially is underway. It is Moneyline Radio on the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. And I'm happy to be here. It's a solo mission. K-Dub will be back tomorrow, but we are in the middle. We're in the middle of hell. I call it Hell Week. You know, Ben's nice. He calls it Hump Week here in sports. Monday down. Tuesday down. Wednesday, TEL is down. Now I'm on Moneyline. Once we get to tomorrow, that's the last day of the year that we have to worry about where I call it Hell Week. Because Friday, Major League Baseball starts back up, and then we start talking football and baseball every night and summer league games, and you get the picture. So I am excited for this. By the way, has anybody ever done this before? Because, you know, me being on the air, and shout out to the people in the chat box here. Aaron's already out here. Luke Kane is out here. How about that? Francisco Carrasco, Darren Filippi, and away we go, and also myself. And JP, I know you're behind the scenes right now. Do we have the ability? Yeah, you see, we're going to debut something here on the show, which, again, since we can't take phone calls yet, and pretty soon JP better be telling me we are going to be able to take phone calls. It's only been a year for that. But if we can't, and Jordan P says, why can't it be Friday? If you do watch through our, stream on YouTube, and I'm going to assume, because I usually freeze the YouTube stream because it distracts me about me watching myself talk to myself. You get that? But I do have the open feed from our end of it behind the scenes, because we're supposed to be able to put up comments from the chat box here into the screen. So I'll go see that. Look at that. Are you guys watching? Because I'm going to go live on my YouTube channel right now because I'm on a little bit of a delay on this. But if you're going to see this come up in just a few moments, let me just keep on hitting the live button where we have the ability to show chats from the chat box on the screen itself, as you're seeing right now, which is Aaron showing good morning all right there. So we have the ability to put the chat box up on the live screen. So when I give you the shout out, it's like, hey, can see in the chat box, shout it out. We could just put you up on that screen as it is as well. So you guys watching all through Moneyline on live stream there on SportsGrid on demand on YouTube. But now we have the ability, because when I get sometimes started, even on solo shows, like, hey, man, I'm on a run right now. I'm talking about handicapping Major League Baseball. There's a lot of really good topics in the chat box. Like JP, my producer, has the ability to now, hey, post it up on the screen where I can see it as opposed to me looking over to my other screen with that here. Francisco Carrasco, do we sleep for 48 hours? What do I do with my, yeah, exactly. What do you do with your hands? What do you do with the hands, people? We're almost going to be there. We are almost ready to go. We are so close to getting through our hell week together, guys, and making all the fun of it. Now, I want to get back to this topic I was going to get to here, because we are going to get to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. What happened last night? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? The pros and the cons and all that good stuff. But hear me out on this. Like, I'm on the air. You can't hide on the air, right? You can't do it. Sometimes there is that nicety of, hey, you know what? I don't do content. I just work a 9 to 5. I'm a salesman. I pick up trash. I deliver pizzas. I sell real estate. I broker deals. Whatever you do in your point of life, you've been in spots where it's like, hey, man, I have to go to the bathroom, or I don't have to go to the bathroom, or I have a headache, or I'm sick, but I can still do work. It's very hard, people. I'm telling you right now. It just is very, very hard. That sometimes when you're on camera. And a funny thing this morning was I put on which I should have worn many times. My usual attire for like a show in my home studio is shorts. I wear socks, obviously, and a pair of Crocs. Like, that's my comfort level. And then up top, it's usually the collared shirt, whether it's a short sleeve collared shirt underneath, long sleeve underneath, but I always wear an undershirt as well. It's either going to be a white V-neck or just a regular white shirt, or if it's like a black top I have on, I'll just wear a black undershirt and it doesn't matter. So this morning I get on the show and I'm like moving around in my seat. I can't. There's a tag that's just getting to me. And has anybody ever had that before? It's like some shirts have, and I've worn the shirt many times, but the tag was just poking me throughout my entire first segment today, where it was getting to the point where I didn't even want to like concentrate. And I wanted to get up and just like leave the actual camera shot so I can take my shirt off and try to replace it. So I went through the whole first segment and said, you know what? I might miss the next 2 to 3 minutes of the next segment because I have to go upstairs and change my shirt. Has anybody been in like an uncomfortable situation? Because again, with us being on the air, it used to be where, and it's a lot easier for me at home. Like I'm at my home studio, which is in my finished basement, which right next door to my studio, I have a full bathroom, shower, sink, toilet, you name it, where if I have to go to the bathroom during breaks, I could just get up, go, come right back and sit back down. When we're in studio, you can't do that because our breaks in the past used to be like 3.5, 4 minutes. And that changed there. We have a little bit more breaks, but they're less time, which I don't mind. It's like 2.5 minutes between break, maybe 2 minutes, 45 seconds. But that's not usually enough to do that. And the reason I'm bringing it up is like, we can't hide on the air. Like I'm on a solo mission right now. Like, unless I'm like, I can't talk JP, like go to commercial break. But you can't have that there. Like you're just on the air yourself. You have to have the ability to talk to yourself. And certainly that's why I love the chat box because it's always popping out there. We can go back and forth. But just that one where it's like 3 minutes left to go in a segment, like I can't, like I'm almost like frozen because a tag in my shirt is bothering me so much that I had to change that here. Just a little insight here and being on the air all the time. And it seems like a glorious job. Like, man, you get to talk sports for a living. I'm telling you. It's not as easy as it looks because you cannot hide on the air. You don't feel good, the people will know it. You don't feel like talking, you will not have a job anymore. You have to disappear from the screen, you better hope somebody's covering for you at that moment. But you know me, I don't take days off. So I've been very, very fortunate as I knock on my wood desk right here that I'm not going to get sick because I haven't taken any days off since being here at the SportsGrid Network due to being sick at this point. So it is what it is at this point. Francisco says, it's already 86 degrees, Donnie. That hoodie is making me hot and uncomfortable. Yeah, but I work in a tomb in the basement. You guys, if anybody else here has a basement, and it pops up on the screen right here, as you guys will see it in just a few moments. I work in a basement where I have 2-zone air conditioning. I have one for my top level, one for my bottom 2 levels, which the bottomest level is the basement. And if anybody has a basement, there is no crazier place to be in the summer than when your air conditioner runs all day upstairs. The basement is absolutely the frozen tundra. So, which is great. Like if you are in this business that we are in, where you don't want to be hot, studios need to be cold, equipment has to be kept cold. That's why I have a hoodie right now. It is steaming outside of my window, but absolutely frigid in my basement right now. The AC runs all day, and it doesn't stop in the basement. It is absolutely freezing down here, which is exactly why I do have a hoodie on at this moment right now. But anybody with a basement understands what it feels like summer and winter in the basement. You're in a different world. I'll go upstairs like, man, it's warm up here. No, you just came from the absolute Arctic tundra of your basement at that point. So that's why I got the hoodie on. It's comfortable. I love doing shows in freezing cold weather, and I love doing shows, obviously, in cold temperatures. Understand this, too. This always is a topic. We'll get to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in just a moment. What do you guys actually sleep at as your temperature? What is that? What is your daily temperature? It goes around on Twitter and social media so much at this point. Like, you know, the crazy part about this is different people like different things. Like when you go to college and you have roommates, not everybody likes the same temperature. You fight over it. We used to go away on like road trips in football, 3 to a room here. What do you want to keep the temperature at? Everybody has a different opinion. For me, during the day, it's 72 degrees, but in my basement, it's 67 right now. So 72 on the regular level, 67 in the basement. But at night, it's 67 in my bedroom. There you go. Steve Engblom. Put that up there in the chat box, JP. Right there. Man hit it. Man hit it right there, Steve Engblom. 67 for me at night is the perfect temperature to sleep at here. 72 just comfortable during the day. Colder at night is the way we like to see it. Let's talk baseball coming up next. It's Moneyline and a solo mission for your boy, ERS.
Of summer have returned and taken the field for the great American pastime. You should monetize that. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
With your news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. This update brought to you by Sky Rizzi. The U.S. government says it is immediately placing a 17% duty on most fresh Mexican tomatoes after negotiation ended without an agreement to avert the tariff. Proponents say the import tax will help rebuild the shrinking U.S. tomato industry and ensure the produce eaten in the U.S. is also grown there. Mexico currently supplies around 70% of the U.S. tomato market, up from 30% 2 decades ago, according to the Florida Tomato Exchange. President Donald Trump and Senator David McCormick of Pennsylvania jointly announced roughly $70 billion of energy investments in the state Tuesday as the president traveled to Pittsburgh for a conference with dozens of top executives to promote his energy and technology agenda. The Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit took place at Carnegie Mellon University and came as the state's political and business leaders are working to forge the city into a hub for robotics, AI, and energy. I'm Trey Westerberg with your news flash.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Luck is a word losers use. If you think winning is only a matter of chance, you must be new here. We give you sports gaming strategies and information that changes outcomes others flip a coin over. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Having fun with the chat box today, no doubt about it. Having some fun here on Hell Week, because now sports with the All-Star Game is done. Got to carry it through for at least 2 more days here, and then we get back to the good stuff on Friday, which we have a full Major League Baseball show. We'll be able to handicap. But the chat box here we're having fun with, as we said, SportsGrid On Demand. If you want to join the show, because we are a very social media savvy show, always I'm looking at social media. We're on the YouTube site, obviously with Restream, and you can now, or we can now, I should say, put those comments up on our live feed so you can see exactly what I see in some of the comments that we have. Now, granted, just having fun with it's the middle of the summer and it got started like I'm wearing a hoodie in the basement. That's the reason why. My studio is freezing cold, which is exactly the way it should be, and it's comfortable for me, which is why I'm able to wear a long sleeve shirt and a jacket in the middle of the summer and be extremely comfortable in doing that. But how about this, though? Aaron Schoen in the chat box. 63 to 64 during the day, 60 at night because my little ones need it cold as well. That is amazing. 63 during the day. Now, honestly, understand this. We're usually creatures of habit, and like depending on like what time of year you're at, like 63 to 64 in the winter isn't that bad because you're accustomed to saying, all right, I might have a pair of sweatpants on and a hoodie and some nice socks. So it doesn't really feel that bad. But in the summertime, to have it actually that cold like during the day because you're mostly wearing shorts and T-shirts around the house, that's freezing. 60 at night is wild. I remember there was one time where, getting the heating and conditioning, we've all been there before. Air conditioner goes out. Oh, that's terrible in the summer. There's nothing worse than that. But have you ever had a heater go out in the winter? And I'm not talking about like, oh, it's been out for 3 weeks. I just don't get it fixed. I'm talking like at night it goes out. It's like it's not coming back on. The pilot's not lighting. And in one of those nights where it's like 20 degrees outside, where your temperature drops in the house like into the 50s, and you got to literally wear hoodie, long johns, sweatpants, thermal socks, maybe even a skull cap to bed at that point. I've been through those wars before. That's wild. But to have it that cold on purpose, that's insanity. All right, let's get back here to some more things that were happening in pressing needs on the Major League Baseball diamond yesterday. Did you guys enjoy the All-Star game? That's my first question. Because the All-Star game from the Major League Baseball perspective, to be honest, is the best All-Star game in the business. The NHL is horrendous. The NFL is ridiculous. And the NBA, they just don't try. Say what you want. In Major League Baseball, they do try. We had a game yesterday that was 6-0 for the National League, a team that never wins the All-Star game. Blows that lead, makes it 6-6, and they go to extras, which means you bring on the home run hitters to decide it, in a de facto home run derby, which Kyle Schwarber did. We'll get to more of the baseball basics here, what happened in the game yesterday. But how about your presentation? Because for me, I'm always honest with you guys. I watched the full pregame festivities from 7:35-ish right up to around first pitch. Then watched a couple of, innings here or there, tuned in and tuned out. But I always like the pageantry of big events. Like, I like to watch the performers, even though I needed better songs out of Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris up there. Give me the hits. Give me the big-time hits. That's what I would have wanted out there. Kane Brown, don't really know too much about him. He sang a good national anthem, and away we went, which meant we get the introductions of the All-Star teams, both National League reserves, American League reserves, and then the starting lineups for each side. I actually enjoy that because you know what the starting lineups are, but sometimes you just want to see the crowd reactions, and they were exactly what you thought they would be in Atlanta. Every time an NL East team came up, outside of the Marlins, where nobody really cares about either way, when the Mets came up, they got roundly booed. When Kyle Schwarber was shown on the screen, roundly booed as well. That's what I love. I love the pageantry of the Atlanta Braves still holding that animosity towards division rivals. And next year it's in Philadelphia. That will be the same thing. We go back to home run derby. And I said this with Kevin yesterday and also in the early line multiple times. I love the fact that Cal Raleigh actually showed up to home run derby and delivered with a win. Now, was it controversial with Brett Rooker? It could have been there, right? But he did show up. He is the home run leader in Major League Baseball, and he won the competition. Sort of elevates him in my book because he didn't have to do that, but understand the importance of, hey, look, I don't get to do this very many times. Who knows if I'm ever going to be in the lead at the All-Star break again with home runs? Why don't I show out why I did it? And he did it. Fantastic. Love to see it. Next year, hopefully, Judge gets back into it. Stanton gets back into it. Pete Alonso gets back into it, and maybe challenge the big dumper Cal Raleigh to see for that true supremacy. It would have been nice this year to have Aaron Judge in it and sort of get that, yeah, you might be up a couple home runs on me, but watch me steal this competition and the way it gets down. Now, on Monday, I was going to take a flyer on Brent Rooker, which, again, I didn't bet anything on it, but that was my pick for the Derby. And he sort of got side changed there. So they only had 38 baseballs to hit when everybody else got 40 and the time limit and, how it was decided that they didn't have a swing off. So be it at that point. But I thought the presentation of Home Run Derby was good. Most people got upset, as we were talking about previously, with the angles of the television shot on ESPN. With ESPN2, you can get the StatCast, which I thought was a better telecast, because that tells me the exit velocity, which people had bets on, the distance of home runs, which people had bets on, was a better telecast. So now we have Home Run Derby down on Monday night, and we get to Tuesday's Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And I like how they sort of ingrain this for us now, where it's a full day for the All-Star game. It's not just the All-Star game itself. Like 2:00, they went live on TV to start the red carpet. Like, well, why would they do that so early? Well, baseball players get to the stadium earlier, and it also has turned into a fashion trend. Hey, guy's going to bring his wife, going to bring his kids, going to bring his girlfriend, significant other, you name it in there. We'll walk the red carpet. We'll get the pictures, something that'll last forever. We'll get some nice photos out of it, which I think is pretty good stuff. You also have the stuff before the game, which is like, the Hank Aaron talk and what baseball means to Atlanta and how it integrated and what a great sports city is, and certainly multicultural. We get all that good stuff here because that's the flavor. You go to Seattle, you go to Atlanta, you go to Philadelphia, you go to Boston, you go to Texas, you go to California. You get that different flavor every time we get an All-Star game, and it's fun to watch it play out. But the All-Star game itself, right? Because, and again, I didn't watch the whole game. Like, Donnie, what were you doing last night? I was watching movies, spending some time with the wife, clicking the channels through, checking in on baseball, because I didn't have any money on the game itself. And by the way, I would have got cracked in my head if I did, because I told you yesterday, I like the minus 180 for that game to have a nerfy, which means no run in the first inning. They scored 2 runs off Scooble in the first inning. Heck, I even like the under in that game at 7. Come on now. 12 runs in that game. 12 runs. So maybe we're back to the National League being able to win, and also the over certainly be that trend. But I would have gotten beaten up in that game. But I just want to ask some questions on the thought process of how they played it out last night. And does it need to be so freaking long? Boy, Donnie Wright's out on a solo mission right here on a Wednesday on the Sports Grid. We'll be back.
Stamping out the boredom in baseball year after year. We bring you all the angles, insights, and information you need. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1941, Joe DiMaggio goes 3 for 4, hitting in his 56th straight game, a record that still stands to this very day. Jolton Joe hit 357 that season, with 30 home runs and 125 RBIs. The Yankee Clipper won the MVP in 41, despite Ted Williams batting .406 for the Red Sox. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
New research at the University of Bern, Switzerland suggests artificial intelligence superior to humans at suggesting appropriate behavior in emotionally charged situations.
I suggest you put down the duck.
Unemotional, non-human AI trained on psychological research dispassionately diagnoses emotionally charged situations in real time, assessing and diffusing the chance of a dangerous outcome.
You might be calmer if your wife stopped tickling you.
One step closer to AI with actual emotional intelligence.
Next time, let go of the bowling ball.
Follow me, at Jacob Elbow on X, and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Moneyline. I do have questions as well. Do I think he could be a good quarterback? Yes. Am I betting money for him to win the division? No, I'm not. Sometimes you just have to prove it to me, and that's where McCarthy's in the case for me.
Last year, the NFC North was dominant, right? Heading into the playoffs. Could this now be a regression? They're more like the NFC South than they are the North of last year?
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Have you noticed how hard it is these days to find something to believe?
Nonsense is everywhere.
But at SportsGrid,
we put our mouth where your money is. Because if we're ever wrong,
you wouldn't win.
Get it? This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Anybody out there in the chat box or anybody listening, did you watch all the way through the All-Star game last night? Like from pregame festivities, saying, hey, there's nothing better to do. Let me just keep it on my television the entire time. Wasn't a lot going on. There was some WNBA action last night. But the All-Star game, again, is the best iteration of any All-Star game in any sport. It really is. And the fact that we got 12 runs last night and a home run swing off is pretty good. I imagine, like, we evolve as human beings and handicappers because the All-Star game when I was a kid was a much bigger deal than it is today. Still think it is. And obviously the ratings were better. because we didn't get to see American League versus National League when I was a kid growing up. They were still separated leagues, and I still think they should be separated because there was some sort of a charm in that. But also at the same time, we didn't get to see all of these players every night in any ticket game you want, which means, hey, I just can pick up my phone and be like, okay, I want to watch the Montreal Expos game back in the day. Or I want to click my button and I want to watch, I don't know, the Philadelphia Phillies or the whoever, Boston Red Sox. Like, we didn't get to do that stuff back in the day. You can do that now, which sort of dilutes the sport. And we always see these all-stars on a night-to-night basis anyway because of all the 24/7 sports networks, including ourselves here at the SportsGrid Network, right? But, like, was anybody winning money last night? How about the MVP? Like I told you yesterday, like the two options I thought made sense, like coming in late in the game, Jazz Chisholm and Brent Rooker of the American League. Like, oh, the American League always wins it. We had a 3-run home run for Brent Rooker. Didn't equate to an MVP. Would you have a 3-run home run by Pete Alonso as well? And it did get down to Kyle Schwarber, which may be food for thought later, which we talked about yesterday. If you are betting the All-Star game, the MVP, why would you ever take anybody that starts the game or plays like the first 3 to 4 innings when if you have a close game, you know at the end of the game, they are going to probably give another notch up to a clutch performance or a clutch base hit over a base hit that was in the 3rd or 4th inning. Hey, both of these guys went 1 for 2 with a double and 2 RBI. When did you get it? Well, I got in the 3rd inning. Those 2 runs counted the same as the 2 runs at the end of the game. Theoretically, they do in the box score, but not when you're watching the game. Like, hey, that 2-run double, they were down 1 run at the bottom of the 9th inning. Now they won on your clutch hit. You're always going to get that bounce here. So for me, I looked at it and said, like, 3+ hour game, 3.5 hour game. It just brings me back to this point. For Major League Baseball, one of the greatest things they did with Rob Manfred, who I love, as many people don't, and I don't understand why. Everything Rob Manfred has done so far has been absolutely spectacular for the game of baseball. And last night, for that game to go that long, now granted, you had a lot of people that had to get in the game, a lot of pitching changes. You had tributes during the game. I understand that. But I don't know how anybody out there that's listening to this show can say, boy, I really miss the days before the pitch clock. You can't say that with a straight face. You just can't do it because the pitch clock has brought in so much more excitement, not from, oh, they get more base hits or they hit home runs farther. That's not the point. You don't have to wait around. And quite frankly, I actually want to do this. I might have to go back to like let's just say a Sunday night baseball game, which I bring up quite frequently, which includes the New York Yankees and let's just say the Boston Red Sox, and say, let me watch that game pre-pitch clock and see if I drive myself crazy. Because do you remember when the pitch clock first got put in? It's like, hey, man, we're really getting these games lower and lower. Average games, 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 10 minutes. Just had a game under 2 hours. And then they used to go like the side-by-sides where they would have a complete inning played before like 3 pitches were thrown in like a playoff game. The pitch clock is absolutely spectacular and maybe the best invention since the shot clock in basketball. It really feels like just to keep the action on the field and keep it continuous as opposed to 1 pitch every 3 minutes, which nobody wants to see. You want to get to the game. You want to watch the game. You want to get home at a decent time. Same thing if you're just watching it on TV. Everything counts the same. But for the All-Star game, which I don't care about in any sport, but I did think Major League Baseball did itself a service, not a disservice, at this All-Star game in Atlanta. Next year, it is going to be in Philadelphia. We'll see the participants in the Home Run Derby. Maybe it's kicked up a leg, and maybe you have some more controversy in games that come out. But I thought for Major League Baseball, the product for Atlanta was very good. The weather was warm. It helped a lot of long home runs. The weather was nice last night in the mid-80s, high 80s at game time. No rain in the forecast to push that game back. Heck, I actually even enjoyed Clayton Kershaw being mic'd up and talking as he was throwing pitches and asking the people in the booth what pitch should he actually throw. That's what an exhibition is for. So I did think Major League Baseball did well. Here's what I don't like about Major League Baseball is no games on Wednesday, no games on Thursday. We return back on Friday, which is also a very tricky day. Let's hit some more hot topics, which includes tomorrow. The Open Championship is going to start at 1:30 Eastern in the morning. With DRS, it's a solo mission on Moneyline.
If you ever hear a Taylor Swift song here,
something has gone horribly wrong.
We only give you sports gaming strategies and information you need. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Just a day after reaching a long-term contract extension with wide receiver Garrett Wilson, the Jets rewarded star defensive back Sauce Gardner with a record-setting deal. It's a 4-year contract worth $120.4 million. The extension includes a little more than $85 million guaranteed. The two-time All-Pro becomes the NFL's highest-paid cornerback. The Chiefs and guard Trey Smith have agreed to a 4-year, $94 million deal. The extension makes him the highest-paid interior lineman in league history. $70 million is guaranteed. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Tuesday that team owners across the league have requested a formal study into the issue of expansion. The next Board of Governors meeting for the NBA likely will take place sometime in September. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
This summer with Kohl's, you can rack up the compliments. Like, where'd you get that dress? Tell me all your makeup secrets. Or, ooh, my husband needs that polo in every color. Because Kohl's has what you need. Cute dresses, Sephora essentials, stylish polos, comfy kids clothes, and more. Plus, take 20% off some of your faves. Yep, cue the compliments with Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer ends July 20th. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Ugh, kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. A spider. A spider! Relax. Just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo. People friendly, bug deadly.
Let's keep it real.
Baseball can be boring.
That's where SportsGrid comes in.
Nothing livens up those 9 innings like sports gaming. You might experience something you've never felt in a baseball game, a quickened pulse. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Interesting tweet which came out. This was late last night about Kyle Schwarber in Major League Baseball. How about this? Kyle Schwarber has homered in the AL wildcard round, the NL wildcard round, the NLDS, the ALDS, the NLCS, the ALCS, the World Series, the World Baseball Championship, and now the All-Star Game in a swing-off. The man does it all. By the way, will be a free agent at the end of the season. See what his price tag will be to keep him with the Philadelphia Phillies. Or does he get around to a team like the New York Mets and break the hearts of all Philadelphia Phillies lore? We'll see what happens, but he's going to make a lot of money, but certainly a big-time performer in big-time spots here. Now, I do want to go over some hot topics as I just teased before the break. Like, we are coming up on the Open Championship, Royal Portrush, across the sea, and that is where? You know where it's at. Ireland, people. Windy conditions, rainy conditions, cooler conditions. That's what the expectations are. The favorite in this field, as always, is what? Scotty Scheffler, and rightfully so. But I'm not going to talk about his golf and the way he's playing right now. And yeah, we got that fixed out, Francisco. And JP's struggling behind the scenes today. It's tough. Look, even though we go through these hell weeks here, JP's going through hell weeks as well. He's trying to work on new things, new trinkets out here on the systems, just the way it is at this point. Like, we could turn it like the Howard Stern show. We just like pick on the people in the background and have fun with them at this point. But we got it. Now I'm up. I can see myself. We're talking. No more black screen. Get the people up. Get the people going. We get that. It's all good. It's all good. Look at that. There he is. JP's in there right now. He's breaking things behind the scenes. JP, otherwise known as James Fleming, in the chat box. There you go. You get to talk to the producer directly if you're listening right now and watching on our SportsGrid account here, SportsGrid On Demand on YouTube. But I want to get back to Scotty Scheffler. Sometimes you look at other athletes, and when I say other athletes, I'm talking about the pinnacle of their sport, the best of the best. When you take a look at players in the past, right, you say, okay, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan in particular. You take a look at, hockey, Wayne Gretzky, golf, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods. So if we keep it in the golf realm, Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, arguably two of the best golfers in the history of sport. If you just break it down to championships, which people like to do, I guess you got to go with Jack because Tiger didn't win as many championships, or majors, I should say, as Jack Nicklaus. But let's just say 1-1A, worst case scenario, however you feel about them. If you would go up to today and say, why did you play the game of golf? What did you play it for? And did you truly love that game? And how did it feel when you were out there trying to win major championships? I'm pretty sure those talking points would be similar between Jack and Tiger. Meaning, like, Jack's like, you know what? I had an on-the-course enemy, Arnie and his army with Arnold Palmer. Wanted to beat him every time I got out there. I strived to be the greatest. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to win every single championship I could, and it meant a lot to me. And then if you probably ask Tiger Woods that same question, hey, Tiger, did you care if you laced them up at the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, the Masters, the PGA Championship, the Players Championship, or heck, even if you were just saying, I'm going toe-to-toe for my country in the Ryder Cup? Tiger would tell you flat out, like, what it means to him to win a championship or to win another one. Like, Tiger's got already one damaged leg, but I'm pretty sure today he would tell you, I'll give up my good leg to win another major championship, and how much that means to the guys at the pinnacle of their sport. Ask Michael Jordan what it meant to be on top of the hill. Was he bored with it? Did he hate it? Did he hate waking up with saying, man, I got to go to work. I can't believe I'm trying to win another championship. Michael Jordan was an assassin on the basketball court. He did whatever it takes to break you down. Kobe Bryant, the same exact thing. He was an assassin, a perfectionist, where only winning absolutely mattered. Then we get a press conference from Scottie Scheffler at the Open yesterday that basically told us, I don't really know why I play this game right now because, I'll win. And I win. It's good for 2 minutes, but I got to go play another tournament. I'm trying to be a good dad and this and that. And it's like, well, I don't know what I'm listening to right now because I don't need you to be all gung-ho Captain America, G.I. Joe, where you say, I don't care about my family, my kid, winning the only thing that matters to me, like Mr. T, right? No, I don't expect you to say that. But I also expect you to be like, I'm the best in this sport. I expect to be the best in this sport. Every time I go out, I'm looking to lay waste to these bums on the PGA Tour so I can get my next championship in. It just sounds like I have all the money in the world. I've won a couple majors. I don't really have anything else to prove to myself. Well, then retire. Just retire from the game. How about that? Like a Barry Sanders type walk-off. Barry Sanders was the best running back in football, maybe of all time, arguably. He's like, you know what? I don't really like playing football for Detroit anymore. I'm good. I played enough years. I'll retire right now on top of my game. Everybody had an issue with that because we love to see Barry Sanders run the football. But the respect on Barry Sanders saying, no, it's my time. And if I don't love this organization and I don't love this game or my coach, it's time for me to step away. And Barry's still a legend in Detroit and a legend in the NFL, one of the best to ever do it. When I hear guys like Scottie Scheffler say, oh, woe is me, I have tens of millions of dollars in the bank, but I don't know why I wake up and play the sport anymore, just walk away then if you don't like it. Just step away from the game. Every week he's favored to win. Every week the expectations he's going to win, and he's basically telling you, I really don't know if this even matters to me at much at this point. So the whole thing here is you look at the sports landscape, and then you can even say to Xander Schauffele, which if you follow me on Twitter at RightSideVP, I said this yesterday with a quote tweet. Schauffele was basically telling I've won majors. I don't know where the championship trophies are. I won a gold medal. I can't tell you where that is. Was that supposed to be a cool flex? You won a major championship and you don't care where the trophy is? You won an Olympic gold medal for your country and stood on the podium as the anthem played and you threw it in the trash with your Taco Bell, by accident, but didn't bother even retrieving it? I don't understand what type of flex was that. You know what a better flex would have been to me, honestly? Look, I won those 4 majors or 3 majors or 2 majors, and I don't even know where the check went. I didn't even cash it because I just wanted to win the champion. You know what? That's a flex. You win a couple $1 million, you don't know where that check is, and you don't care to look for it because all that matters is winning to you. Yeah, that's a better flex. But where we have now 2 golfers at the top of their game actively telling us, just give me some money and I'll be okay with this, but I don't know if I love the lifestyle. Even if you hate the lifestyle, you don't tell the people that. Heck, the music business. You have all these boy bands and girl bands rising up. You know what they tell them? Have your boyfriends and girlfriends on the side, but don't you dare come out and say that you have a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's bad for business. It's bad for business. You might even got married. Like, you can't wear that ring on stage because these girls want to know that you're still free and they can dream about you and hang pictures on their wall that they can be your boyfriend, even though you're married. It's not good for business. So for the PGA Tour, the best players saying, I don't know where my trophies are. When I hold that trophy up and everybody gets pictures, I'm probably going to throw that thing in the trash the minute I leave, and it means nothing to me. Or I'm the best golfer in the world and I don't know why I wake up and play golf anymore. Maybe it's just the money, but I'd rather go home. Then we can also take the opposite stances out here at this point too. And what do we say to ourselves? And there's Francisco. Tell him your boy DRS, he has a good take here. So there we go. But did you see Brent Rooker? I don't mean to jump in, but I am sometimes devious at times, to be honest. I really am. I saw somebody going out Brent Rooker on Twitter, which I didn't watch much of the home run derby. Saw the results, watched a couple highlights, the same as most people did. But Rooker at some point in that night was feeding his, 11-month-old or under a year-old child. And someone's like, hey, man, we ain't watching this for you to feed your kid. Like, go out there and hit some home runs. And he took umbrage, like, that's when my kid gets fed at that point. But I got to be honest, like, there's a part of me that goes, like, yeah, family life, that's what means a lot. But did he really have to feed his kid during a home run derby at the All-Star game? You know what I mean? Like, if I was on air right now, I was like, hey, man, I got a young kid. I got to feed my kid. Like, would it be acceptable in a way? Sort of. But you didn't pay me to watch me, like, feed my kid or do that. Like, there's other times, like, oh, they're away from their families a lot. They also get October, November, December, January, and most of February off to be every single day and night with their family. And then in baseball season, 50% of the time, they're at home during the season as well. So there it is. Hot topics all the way across. Talk football next.
This is sports gaming information you can use. Expert analysis on odds, insights, and strategies you can literally take to the bank. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game was last night in Atlanta. It came down to a home run tiebreaker instead of extra innings as the National League beat the American League 4-3 in the home run session after playing to a 6-6 tie through 9 innings. The American League tied the game in the 9th when Stephen Kwan reached on an infield single. Bobby Witt Jr. scored. Down 6-0 after National League. Homers from Pete Alonso and Corbin Carroll. Brett Rooker hit a 3-run shot in the 7th for the American League, then pulled within 2 runs late in the 7th when Witt Jr. grounded out to second. Witt sparked the American League in the 9th with an RBI double before crossing the plate on Kwan's single. In the swing-off, the American League was up 3-1, but Kyle Schwarber ripped 3 homers and earned All-Star Game MVP honors. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
There's a lot of reasons to shop at Macy's, but here's one you might not know about. Macy's has free personal stylists to help you find the perfect looks for summer. They're experts who know more than just the latest trends. They know how to find the fits, sizes, and designers that are perfect for you. Even better, get an extra 20% off the items you find at your first session. Book your free appointment in-store or at Macys.com/personal stylist. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it.
I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce.
Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
Springtime. When a young man's fancy turns to
Get your mind out of the gutter.
For sports gaming strategies and information that gives you an unfair advantage, you'll find it all right here.
It's the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Right back at it here. Jay, please tell me I'm up. It tells me to be quiet here on the opening. This is what we're doing on off days right now, having fun on the radio at this point now. Get it together back behind the scenes, people. I'm taking control here of the radio airwaves. As we just talked about some hot topics in the British Open. By the way, in the Open Championship, which I still do call the British Open at times. I know it's a faux pas to do that. Is it just Scotty Scheffler? Is it Rory McIlroy that's going to win this thing? I actually enjoy the Open because it's a changing of, like, if it was just a normal golf tournament. I don't mean by normal by saying it's not a major and it's just the John Deere Classic. I like the fact that it's on in the morning because we'll wake up tomorrow, which, again, is a sports day that doesn't have very much going on. To have a major championship, even if it is golf, that feels good. And the same thing with Friday morning as we anticipate getting back to the Major League Baseball schedule. That's awesome. Wake up Saturday morning, you can watch golf. Sunday morning early, it's over by the very early afternoon to see who that major champion is. That's what I do get a kick out of and I do enjoy, which brings me up to my next topic here. The WNBA back to their camp schedule today, guys. You have a 12 o'clock game, a 1 o'clock game, a 3 o'clock game, a 7:30 game, and an 8 o'clock game tonight. Now, the Dream and the Sky are going to start things off as 10-point favorites for the Atlanta Dream. But the question here coming up is the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. They were going to have a all-star caliber game tonight. Maybe they will, but I don't know if they're going to have that all-star quality. I need to watch this basketball game. Why? The cash cow in the WNBA, which is Caitlin Clark, injured again last night. And looks like she re-injured the groin. If you see the, Twitter/social media clips going around, like where she obviously aggravated and then walks up to like the basketball stanchion, like under the rim, like sort of bangs her head against it. And almost looks like she's ready to go into tears while holding her groin. That's a tough look for the WNBA, who does have the All-Star game coming up, which she probably won't participate in at this point. She's not going to play in a game that would have been major for the WNBA. Nothing going on across the sports landscape to have their 7:30 primetime game versus the Liberty tonight, where she's not going to play. That's a shame because that's a spotlight game they would love to have, and the ratings certainly would be there. But also for her as a product at the All-Star game and playing in it, that would have been another really good product. Now, also, there's probably 75% of the WNBA that saw her injure her groin last night and love the fact that she's probably not going to play in the WNBA All-Star game, which is so insane. It doesn't even make sense to say that, but it feels like there's so many haters out there in this world. But that's one where you can't afford that. And if you are the Fever, like you want to make the playoffs, you want to win a championship, you're not doing that without Caitlin Clark being at 100%, even coming back and playing. It was pretty clear, guys. Like she was not at 100%, no way, shape, or form. All right, let's get talking to a little bit of NFL news and topics here. And I love to see it. Like the Chargers full team is in training camp as of today. The rookies came in over the weekend. The vets come into the building. Every single day from here on out, more teams are going to be in the building, and then veterans following just a few days after that. Have you ever played football? Have you ever played a sport that demands of you in camp? Like, I don't know, like I played soccer growing up as a kid for a couple of years, but I obviously didn't play soccer in high school. It's football, high school, football, and college. Like, I want to know, like, is soccer camp grueling? Like anybody, I know a lot of people listening played soccer in high school. Was it grueling? Was just like, man, I just got to get used to running again. Because I'm telling you right now, like, I guess outside of like boot camp in the military, and I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just saying, like, as like this, and did anybody ever sign up for the Marine Corps? Did anybody ever sign up for like Navy Bud SEAL training? Like, man, thank goodness it starts tomorrow. That's going to be awesome. Like, those are terrible. Like, I call this Hell Week. There's real Hell Weeks out there. The Crucible, the Marines, Hell Week in Buds, where you don't get any sleep. Can you imagine this, guys? Like the SEAL team, you go to Hell Week, could you like week 2 or 3 of like a 6-month, Buds training, which is their SEAL training to become a SEAL. Where like week 2 or week 3 is Hell Week, where Sunday you only sleep 2 to 3 hours until the following Friday. That's not at night. That's combined while they just work you nonstop 24 hours a day. Like, that's crazy. But when I see like camp, when I hear like football camp, it's nice when you go back. And specifically, like, I hated like freshman year in high school camp, sophomore year probably in high school stunk as well. Junior year when I was started to be a varsity starter, it was okay. Senior year was awesome because that's your boys. You're at the pinnacle. You're all 18 years old. You're all going into your senior year. That was a lot of fun. My freshman year of college, going to camp for football was absolutely torture because, at least as a freshman in high school, you got like 30 buddies on the team that and you sort of know the sophomores and the juniors. And, if they're a good varsity football player, you knew them just by watching a football game in the past couple of years. And, I play on the same team. But when you go away to football camp where it's just you with 100 kids and you don't know anybody else, that's a jarring experience. And especially when you show up at 18 years old, barely lifting any weights in high school because we didn't really do that in the 1990s, to playing with grown men, that's an eye-opening experience. But then same thing, sophomore year, hated it. Junior year, but it's a little bit different in college because, I was a starter all the way through. But then senior years with whatever guys are left over from your freshman class, and it's just like you're top of the hill, peak conditioning. It's a little bit easier to get through. But football camp, just saying that and getting through it, oh my goodness. The heat, the humidity, the wear, the tear, the blisters on the toes, the aches, the pains, the cramping. Oh man, it felt like it never, ever ended. And if anybody else also remembers, if they do play high school or college football, you usually get off like Labor Day weekend. Like me, I'd have a scrimmage on Saturday morning. Hey, guys, see you Tuesday for practice. That is always the worst practice of the year because nobody feels like practicing football after going through camp and having a couple days off and then back into the heat and humidity. But it's so nice to see the Chargers full team in camp and every team out there. We are 2 weeks away, roughly, from playing that Hall of Fame game, opening preseason game, to watch it here at this point right now. It's fantastic. Like, it's going to be fantastic to have that back in our lives. And it's just a great talking point of the summer and the evolutions of the summer, which means like, hey, fun time, fun time, fun time. Oh, no, it's time to go back to school, which means you have football camp. Those were disastrous days. But also in football, the Jets hooking up their young players, paying them top dollar. Sauce Gardner's out there. Take a look at my boy Garrett at wide receiver. Tremendous player. I like what they did. The Chiefs with Trey Smith, making him the highest paid guard in football. There's one wide receiver out there, and I don't think he's getting a lot of respect from his organization. But I find that organization might be on the right side here. Find out which wide receiver, what football team I'm talking about next.
We don't care what your high school girlfriend told you. You are a winner. Or at least you will be if you keep it here. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
For anyone who's worried about back taxes, has not filed tax returns, and doesn't know what to do next, stop and listen. Not filing your taxes can have severe consequences, especially in this political climate. Now that COVID is over, the IRS is getting aggressive, massively increasing enforcement and collection efforts. With politicians making all sorts of promises, especially when it comes to taxes, hiding and not dealing with your taxes will cause you harsh legal and financial ramifications. But right now, the IRS offers forgiveness and writes off a massive amount of tax debt. The Tax Doctor offers a free service that helps people get out of IRS collections and back in good standing with the government. Don't hide or bury your head in the sand. Take advantage of our free service. Call now to learn more. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. That's 800-816-4492.
The Early Line.
We'll start with Atlanta because that's where the All-Star game is this week inside Truist Park. They have been the most disappointing team in a large way this year. Second best place to win a World Series before this year got started, only behind LA. And now that number 120-1.
It's the Early Line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to SportsGrid, doing our part to spread the winning edge nationwide. Terrestrial, internet, TV, satellite, and our mobile app. Face it, you're one of us. One of us. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Right back at it here, final segment of the day. Hell week, people! Hell week, man! Sports are coming back. Just be calm. It's a 3-hour live show every morning, then we come on the radio for an hour. It's a 4-hour block I do this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is today, Thursday, and Friday. Like, I'm pulling it for the people. These 20 hours of on air are like your worst nightmare. It's like you got to go on a diet on Monday. Oh, no, nobody wants to diet. You got to go to football camp on a Monday. Oh, no, nobody wants to do that. You got to go back to school as a fourth grader. Nobody wants to do that. That's what I'm doing this week. I'm putting it on for the people out there and having a lot of fun, certainly doing that as well. It's what we do. It's what we do out in these streets. Having fun, talking some smack. You got people talking smack in the chat box. Politics, no politics. I guess it's a free country at this point. Who knows who's in here? Who doesn't know anything about this again? But here's what we got. The British Open/Open does start tonight. That's, you know what? That brings us back into the fold. Thursday, we don't have baseball back in our lives. I wish there was. We don't. It comes back on Friday. But as I told you, that silver lining of the Chargers, full team now in training camp, and every other day somebody gets back there. But also understand this. I was teasing a wide receiver and a football team right before the break. And it's interesting to me because when I hear the name Terry McLaurin, I think very good wide receiver. But sometimes you don't quite know how old players are, even though you've watched them for a couple years in the NFL or Major League Baseball. Like sometimes you're like, oh man, that guy's only 24 years old. Wow. Seems like he's been around for a long time. Or in Terry McLaurin's case, like, hey, you know what? He came in as a rookie. They gave him an extension. And now he's coming into year number 30 of his life, which again would be his 6th or 7th year, I believe, in the NFL. Because he came in not as a 20-year-old NFL player, 21, which we see quite a bit. He came in as like a 23, 24-year-old guy. And now you're saying stuff like, I couldn't figure out like why they weren't signing Terry McLaurin for the Commanders. Now, they did offer him a contract, 3 years extension, I think like $60 million plus. I'm like, well, that feels light. Like a lot of these young players in their prime are really making bank right now. And I'm not saying once you hit 30 years old, you're dead in the NFL. We've seen guys certainly buck that trend for a couple years, specifically at skill positions. But now I sort of see the light on what the Commanders are doing. Like, yeah, we're going to give you a pretty good, we gave you one extension, which is very good. We'll give you another one. So you made great money throughout your NFL career. But Terry, we're not going to break the bank and make you the highest paid wide receiver in the sport as a 30-year-old. Like, yes, we do have a rookie quarterback salary scale player in Jaden Daniels. But that doesn't mean we're just going to go all in and throw out funny money across the board. And I sort of agree with it. Like if Terry McLaurin was coming into 28 years old into the season, that's a completely different trajectory on what you're going to get over the next 3 to 4 years, as opposed to a 30-year-old wideout who by the time at the end of that extension, he's, 31 year, 32 year, 33 year, 34 year. So I sort of see what they're doing because he's a great guy and a great football player. But now it sounds like the adults are back in charge in Washington by going, you know what? We're going to get a good head coach. We're going to get a good coaching staff. We're going to draft the right quarterback. We're going to develop said quarterback. We're going to work everybody into a system. We're going to pay guys that we can pay and, do what we got to do as long as Jaden Daniels is on a rookie contract. But it seems like they're drawing the line with Terry McLaurin. And McLaurin in an interview certainly wasn't all that happy with what he was hearing, to be honest. Basically saying like, hey, I don't like what I'm hearing. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And also from a Washington perspective, like that 3-year, let's just say, $65 million deal, which was supposedly on the table from Washington, that hasn't been talked about in like months. Like there's not going back and forth and the lines of communication are open. And what Terry McLaurin is saying, like we haven't heard from Washington over the past couple of years. It's crazy. It's wild. Like this is one of your best players for your team in this division in the NFC East. And it's like, you're going to turn your back on Terry when you can afford to pay him that money. But maybe they say, hey, here's what you're worth. Here's what it is. That's going to be an interesting one to line up as we get towards training camp, which also there's still a couple other guys that do want money. And how about this? Sometimes you look at players and you say, like, why are you holding out? You just got paid. But sometimes you have to strike while the iron is hot. And San Francisco with Juwan Jennings. Like Jennings is like, hey, I make $7.5 million. You gave me an extension. But now I feel like I'm like the true number one of this team. You better trade me or pay me or I'm not showing up. And this comes off the heels of, you're like, all right, well, Brandon Ayuk is here. He's coming off of a major knee injury. We got rid of Deebo Samuel. We're going to need you a lot this year. We paid you before, but now you want more money. He's striking while the iron is hot right now. I'm interested to see the way the San Francisco 49ers particularly respond to that because they can't afford to lose another weapon or trade another weapon, specifically if Brandon Ayuk isn't going to turn back being the Brandon Ayuk we used to know. That'll do it for today, man. Thursday coming up next as Wednesday's in the books. Moneyline, boy DRS, Solo Mission, JP Bond, the Business Steel. Yeah.
Actionable insights, analysis, odds, and expert perspective on sports gaming. If we